Hello and welcome back to 1001 Ways to Kill Someone with a Shark. Today I'm joined by Little Wayne. Sweet grill, brah.
Thank you. So today we're talking about The Spy Who Loved Me, and it's really hard to talk with aluminum foil in your mouth, but I'm going to do my best.
You may want to take him out.
No, it's commitment. So what do you think of this movie, Corey?
I like this one more than I thought I would. There's still a little bit of campiness.
Sorry.
I think the big standout I think for this movie is the car that turns into the submarine. That's my go-to when I think of this movie. I think of that.
That's what Thunderball should have been.
Yeah, I mean, I think the design of the car. This is a side note besides the whole movie, but I think the design of the car isn't bad. I just think with the rest of the tone of the film, I don't think it fits that well.
Because it goes underwater?
No, it's just the design of the car. It looks so...
I love it. I would buy one of those in a heartbeat.
I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's cool. I just think it's...
This is why James doesn't follow us.
I wouldn't blame him. I think the design is maybe just a tad too futuristic for the idea of it in this film. But I'm not saying that it's bad. I still like it. I think it's cool. But I think that's just the big harp of it. Other than that, I mean, the film in itself... It isn't that bad. I mean, we're going to get into the tropes of it. But it's likable. I think it's a likable, campy, fun film.
Yeah, I like this movie. Aside from a few campy moments, it takes itself seriously. And it uses the formula to its advantage. Not in a cheap way like some of the other ones, but still has some... This is really obnoxious. But it still has enough new elements that feel fun. And 007 finally got women right, so...
Yeah. He's getting nicer.
The plot of this movie is pretty simple. You know, this guy wants to hijack some nukes and hold the world ransom. Except he doesn't. He wants to destroy it and create an underwater sea Atlantis, which is cool and different and it's kind of sinister in a nice way, you know?
I still... All I ever get of this movie with the villain is... Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, it's silly, but it's fun. I think the villain is...
He's nothing special, but he's evil, and he's, you know, alright.
He's alright, but he's forgettable. I think he's forgettable.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of screen time. I think his best scene is the opening, when he murders all three of those people, and then he's like... playing classical music and eating his expensive dinner at his long-ass table.
I do like how he shoots the... He tries to shoot somebody later. He shoots...
One with the rocket through the tube.
Yeah, he shoots James there later, but I like how she's at the end of the table and he's like, oh, you use the elevator. And she goes in the elevator and she drops down, you know, sharks. Because...
Best use of sharks.
Sharks. But, I again, in that weird, campy... Saturday morning cereal type way, it's fun.
I like the action sequences, good fist fights. Ski chase in the beginning, it's cool. We love Jaws a lot. That's why I'm dressed up as him. He's a monster.
Jaws as a character fits, I think, well into the realm like with Oddjob, where it's like here's a villain that has a slightly odd quirk. And I like Jaws more in this one than in the next one we will get to. But I think Jaws as a standalone, quirky villain, again, Saturday morning cereal, works for a fun time.
Yeah, I love when he drops in the shark tank and Jaws is like, yeah, see you, bitch. He just eats the shark. And
he's like, you think you got me?
No way. So it has, like, snarky dialogue, and there's a few moments where the music is a bit much. Like when the van is driving away, ripped apart. I forget what the music is, but it's, like, Look at this silly band. It's like, we don't really need that.
We're having a fun time in a James Bond movie.
And then, like, they play, like, the Lawrence of Arabia theme for a couple seconds. I'm like, don't really need this.
These jokes...
Yeah, I mean, aside from that, it takes itself pretty seriously.
It's still the era of the popcorn movie type James Bond, where it's like the summer blockbuster. You kind of turn off your brain. I still appreciate the times where it's treated like a real spy stuff, but I think this era of Bond movies where it has this campiness, it's allowed to exist. It's allowed to have a little bit of bending of the rules type fun.
Still, you did save my life. Everyone makes mistakes. Okay, yeah, so, like, when the car comes out of the water on the beach, like, it's normal. I'm okay with James Bond destroying, like, normal life and people observing. It happens.
That's fine.
And, like, people on the beach are like, what? A car coming out of the water? And there's that new cameo guy who's, like, drinking a beer and looks at his beer and, like...
He's everywhere. He's always on vacation.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Huh?
But it's better than having him than J.W. Pepper, thank God.
Yeah, I'll take that any day over J.W.
But yeah, like, that scene is, like, it's quick and people look and then the car drives off, but, like, they do that again in Moonraker, which we'll talk about.
How did he get a fish in the car, by the way?
Where's the whole roof? I don't know. But, so it's, like, a little silly, but it's not as overblown as it gets in the rest of the Moore era.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are some serious moments. I really like the scene when Bond admits to killing Triple X's lover.
Yes.
It's like his most serious acting moment in the whole franchise, and I love that scene.
As much as I love that scene, it's also such an underutilized plot point. There could have been more interesting things with that. I mean, I'm not saying it isn't paid off a little bit at the end, but the reality is it's something that could have been delved into and made a much more interesting movie. And I agree with you. I think that's the most serious acting part there. Are you okay?
Uh-huh. Well, let's talk about Triple X then.
It's a clear pun calling her Triple X. Again, they do...
Anya.
What is it?
Anya.
That's
right.
Yeah, Triple X is, as a code name, it's a clear pun. They do that silly little, gotcha moment at the beginning where, right. It's really this agent, but he gets up. She's reaching over like, it's a woman.
Like, let's call her best agent, and then like, it's this loser. It's like, nope, it's her. That was cool.
Also, I don't have a problem with her as a character, but have you noticed the string of not very good actresses?
I thought she was
Am I the only one that notices this?
Yeah, I think you're being a little hard. I think she was fine. She's not going to win an Oscar.
Yeah, she's definitely fine. Use those metal teeth for a good reason, you know?
Well, no, I love the tension between the two. I love that Roger Moore killed her boo. I love that they're always trying to one-up each other. That's a fun dynamic. Like when they first meet at the bar. It kind of reminded like loosely of the scene in Casino Royale where they're on the train like trying to like read each other. Yeah, I think their relationship adds such an interesting level and adds more tension that we haven't seen in a lot of James Bond movies over the years.
Which is, I think it's needed. Like we need to start developing a little bit more than just being a summer popcorn film.
Like I love when they're on the boat and you think they're about to like snuggle up and she's like, light my cigarette. I'm telling you, these cigarettes, they get you every time. And he like, puts the powder in his face. I like that too because it finally uses his like horniness to like as a weakness.
His disadvantage.
Yeah, for once. Thank God. Keep it in your pants, dude. You'd live a little longer.
Can't stop. Just can't stop.
And then I like the scene too when they're on the train and they're in separate rooms. They're both like waiting for the other to come in and make a pass.
You know what? You know what that reminded me of? Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. That little cat and mouse. Huh.
Yes, that's true.
But then Jaws out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Bam. Good fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was wonderful. And then this kind of like into our last main point, into just the climax and how it played out as a great action sequence and the absence of her.
Say that
I think we both really like the climax. Great action. There's a lot of things that Bond has to do. He has to defuse the bomb, shoot the nukes at each other, You know,
Yeah.
it's pretty elaborate, a lot of different steps. I like the end of You Only Live Twice, but it feels sloppy and just like, blow up.
It's similar. Yeah.
But this is a little more elaborate and interesting.
It is irritating, though, because she's an agent, and she gets damsel in distress mode, and it's very irritating.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Their subplot kind of fades at that point, and in one way, I get it because they need a reason for him to go and kill Stromberg.
Yeah.
And Jaws.
I mean, I'm in the defense of, yes, we need to root for James.
And it is a James Bond movie.
It's not an Anya XXX movie, but
it'd be cool to see her like kicking ass next to him.
And if we want to defend Tracy back in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, she's not an agent at all, and yet she's more capable than this agent, in my opinion. Like,
I think she's capable. She just doesn't get opportunities at the end.
Probably not, but I'm still thinking to myself, even as a heavily guarded group that Anya's under, she's an agent. She could figure out her way. James figured himself out of clear traps where he's like, oh, I'm locked up, but yet he still has enough wit to get himself out. And I'm like, if I'm to believe that this woman is one of the best agents, how can she not get herself out of this? I didn't totally buy it.
Well, and would the movie spend time with that, and could it? I think it could, because I think you made this comment, like, this ending sequence is good, but there are things that could be trimmed,
Yeah.
A lot of good, like, gunfights and fistfights and stuff, but, maybe cut away to her, like, getting out of the trap and, doing something Stromberg. Because even at the end, like, I feel like Stromberg dies too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The Jaws fight is fine. I like that he uses his teeth to his disadvantage, but that's kind of quick. So, I don't know. A lot to like.
Yeah, with all criticisms aside, I can say that I enjoyed myself. I mean, as far as my score, you're probably going to look at me giving this standard answer for the majority of the Roger Moore ones. It's always going to be around this level, but this is also another 3 for me. Like, I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. But critically, it could be better, but that's just me.
Well, I'm going at least a 4, maybe 4.25. I would put it in the top, definitely top 10, probably top 8. I would have to think about that, but
I think the more campy the movies get, the less the score tends to go for me, because I appreciate that hard spy stuff, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
My gums are bleeding.
Maybe it's time to, well, you're going to be Jaws for our next one, aren't you?